Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, Ranting Monkey, and it's Thursday. Hump day's over. Stop your humping, guys. You don't get to do that again for another week. It's Thursday, and I hope you're having a great day. And YouTube, that is the end of my opening, so I can swear like a sailor now if I want to. Guys, I just saw the most depressing thing. Oh my goodness. I went over to get my YouTube side of this ready. You know, it has the recommended videos there, and it has Bon Jovi doing It's My Life live from home during this whole COVID thing, right? And I hadn't seen it. And while John is standing there, he looks normal. He looks old. I mean, he's an older guy. But then he starts singing. And he does this really weird thing with his mouth. And he goes from looking like maybe he's in his 60s. I don't know how old John Bon Jovi is, but like maybe in his 60s to looking like he died last week. I mean, he does this weird froggy tongue thing. Like, oh God. Oh. It was a real slow version of the song. I didn't watch the whole thing. I had to turn it off because it was horrifying. It was absolutely mortifying. And yeah, so I was planning on having a good show anyway, because I'm in a good mood, you guys. But then I saw that and I was like, oh dear Lord, help me. What evil have I crossed? Anyway, I have so many things to talk about tonight that, especially the title of the stream. We're going to get to at Jack. Jack, I hope you're listening out there. I know you're probably not. You're a busy man. You command is it $1 billion empire now? I don't know how much that man's worth. You a lot of money empire. You occasionally go on to your little creation there, like you did just a little while ago. You know what? Let's jump into that first. Eric Peters, thank you so much. Who says buying an ELISA Hollywood face mask? What is ELISA Hollywood? Huh? I'm confused. But so there's been a controversy the other day. Donald Trump made a tweet about mail-in voting, and it led Twitter for the first time to put a restriction on. It's not a restriction. It put a what is it? A tag. There's a little thing at the bottom of it. Oh, Alyssa Milano crocheted mask. Oh, maybe that's what they meant. But yeah, sorry. Back to the story here. They put a little disclaimer, and it's actually on two different posts, and the posts go together. Shit, I should have had this brought up on the screen already. You're gonna be surprised by this. I had it on the screen, and then I was on the wrong tab and closed it and have lost it. So give me a minute. I want to read the actual tweet. I want to bring the tweet up on screen because it's important. It's important to Jack's narrative here. Now, in fairness, I saw a Twitter, the account at Twitter, respond to this, but they responded after Jack did. They were basically repeating Jack. So I was wrong in going after them first because they were just repeating what they'd heard. Okay, so here is the tweeters. There's no way, zero, that mail-in ballots will be anything less than substantially fraudulent. Mailboxes will be robbed, ballots will be forged, and even illegally printed out and fraudulently signed. The governor of California is sending ballot. Okay, we need to stop before this part. Up until this part, this is all opinion. What he just said there, that is all his opinion. He can state it as though it's a factual thing, but he's stating opinion, and that's allowed. Anyway, he goes on to say the governor of California is sending ballots to millions of people. Anyone living in the state, no matter who they are or how they got there, will get one. This is where he got into trouble with this tweet, guys. No matter what you guys think. Thank you, John Migda, for the sticker. I can't see what it is right now. I will go look at it right after this, but thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. This part is what Twitter is saying got Trump in trouble. But he goes on to say, that'll be followed up with professionals telling all these people, many of whom have never thought of voting before, how or for whom to vote. This will be rigged, a rigged election. No way. Okay, so the part that this is what Twitter has claimed, is that what Donald Trump said right here is going to confuse people into not getting ballots because the governor of California is sending ballots to millions of people, anyone living in the state. They're saying that that is going to confuse people into not realizing they have to register in order to get a ballot. And you know what? It seems like a stretch there. Seems like a stretch for them to die on that hill. Oh, and that's the lemon. Thank you so much, John. I like the lemon. The lemon and the pear, a couple of my favorite. I like the hippo too. I guess the dog one is not my favorite. I don't hate him, but the other three I think are just cuter. So Jack comes out with a statement, and this is what he says. He says, well, it's three parts. I focused on the last one because this is where you get to the meat of the issue. Should we read all three? Let's be fair and read all three, Jack. Jack, we'll give you your due. I don't want to take you any way out of context. I don't want anybody to suggest I've taken you out of context. So let's just give you your due and read the whole damn thing. The first part of it says, fact check. There is someone ultimately accountable for our actions as a company, and that is me. True. Please leave our employees out of this. Well, they also work for your company, sir. They are a representation of your company. We'll continue to point out incorrect or disputed information about elections globally, and we will admit to and own our mistakes we make. Oh, hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought, homie, because we're going to have to discuss one just in a minute because I know you're not going to respond to what I said to you. I know you're not because I'm not a big enough person for you to give a shit about. Anyway, he goes on to say, this does not make us an arbiter of truth. Well, yes, it is. Yes, it does. When you decide you're the one who gets to point out incorrect or disputed information, that is you claiming to be the arbiter of truth. Well, now, maybe not the disputed information, but when you say this information is incorrect, that is you being the arbiter of truth there, my friend. You get to decide on your platform who is and isn't truthful enough. Our intention is to connect the dots of conflicting statements and show the information in dispute so people can judge for themselves. Well, see, that's two different things, sir. If you had just said disputed information, you'd be right. But when you said you point out incorrect information, then you're full of shit. Sorry, bud. More transparency from us is critical so folks can clearly see the why behind our actions. Now, this is all a preamble to set up the bullshit. You guys ready for the bullshit? Per our civic integrity policy, the tweets yesterday may mislead people into thinking they don't need to register to get a ballot. Only registered voters receive ballots. We're updating the link on real Donald Trump's tweet to make this more clear. Now, do you know why they need to update the link on real Donald Trump's tweet? You want to take a guess? I'll let you know. Because it has nothing at all to fucking do with whether or not you have to register to vote in California to get that ballot. This is. I guess that's him taking ownership of the problem, which, by the way, as of right now, they still haven't changed the link on Donald Trump's tweet. It is still a link to an article from Chris Cillizza, an opinion piece from Chris Cillizza about why Donald Trump doesn't like mail-in voting. That's what's over there right now. And let's go back. I'll show you. I'll actually show you. We'll do this in real time, unless they've changed it since I looked just a few minutes ago. Get the facts about mail-in ballots. Look at this. It links to a CNN post from our old friend at CNN, Mr. Chris Cillizza. And this is it. This is it right here. Oh, this is, I need to hide this part for just a second. There we go. So you can see the whole thing. All right. Now, I'm gonna show you guys something really cool you can do. If you didn't know you can do this, I'm sure most of you did, but if you hit F3, you can search for words, register. And right here, you see 0 out of 0. Register is not even mentioned in this fucking thing. The word register, nowhere in here. But remember, guys, they did this because people might get the mistaken impression they don't have to register to vote. That's why they linked to a CNN article that has nothing to do with it, that doesn't take that part of the article at all. It's just a hit piece from Chris Cillizza about how he doesn't like Donald Trump. And hey, I'm going to take some shots at him because Donald Trump thinks that mail-in voting isn't safe. That's what this was. This is what they linked to. This is what is still, I just showed you right now, still fucking linked to. But hey, and Jack's tweets, I don't know if you guys noticed, that's from 2 hours ago. The Twitter one that came out afterwards, that's from an hour ago. Both of which tell you the whole reason that this is being done. The reason it's being done, you guys, is because people might not realize you have to register to get a ballot. And yet their fact check has nothing about that. It doesn't even come close. It's literally Chris Cillizza saying Donald Trump doesn't like mail-in voting because he doesn't like to lose. That's the truth of what his article says. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it is. He goes on to say that this way, if Donald Trump loses, he can blame it on mail-in voting. He says that. This guy's a prick. He's not even a newsman. He's an opinion writer at fucking CNN, and you used him as your source for fixing this? What the fuck are you guys doing, man? And Jack is scared. Jack is scared, and rightfully so. Jack is very scared. There's a lot of people. I responded to some moron who he's like, I'd take his account down too. They can't take Donald Trump's account down. You see, a whole bunch of morons from the resistance got together, pissed off that Donald Trump was blocking them a few years back. Y'all remember that? Yeah, it turned out to be kind of a big thing. And a federal judge said, you know what? This is a public square. You cannot block the people from being able to see and respond to the president because that would be a First Amendment issue, not a censorship issue. An honest to God First Amendment free speech issue. And with that out there right now, I don't know how any American can be kicked off of Twitter. Honestly, I don't understand. Because if the ability to respond to the president on Twitter is a free speech issue, then you shouldn't be able to, unless I've committed a crime, not broken your TOS, committed a fucking crime, then you shouldn't be allowed to take me off, even if I never respond to the president. It's my right, my First Amendment right to see this. And Jack knows they done fucked up here. You know, if they had stuck with what they said there, if that was actually what they were worried about, if they're like, look, this makes it seem as though in California, you don't have to register to vote. So we're linking to a thing that showed, you know, say from the California Secretary of State office, which would have the voting things on there instead of a fucking opinion piece from CNN. Well, then you'd have a point. Then I would go, you know what? It's kind of dickish. It's the first time you guys have done this to a major political figure, but okay, that makes sense. I don't want anybody to not know how to vote in their area. I'm all on board for things that say you can't lie about when voting is or how voting takes place. I'm good with that. That's fine. But that's not what you did, Jack. And Jack knows. See, Jack's been worried about this for a while. Jack is part of that trio of social media owners who's desperate for the government to just give them flat rules, but also horribly afraid of such a thing happening. You see, what's going to happen here, Donald Trump tomorrow, well, today now, has said he is going to issue an executive order on this. Donald Trump is going to issue an executive order on the bullshit that's been going on with conservatives being silenced. You guys done fucked up because you know you've been doing it. You know you've been silencing conservatives more than liberals. And you know what? Some of you guys decided or deserve to be silenced. Let's be a little bit honest about that. But there's a lot of people who didn't. A lot of people who got silenced for stupid shit. Just as an aside, I once got a 7-day ban for calling somebody a bimbo. That's the kind of shit that's pulled on people on Twitter. And can I say it's just the right wing? No, I can't. I can say what's probably going on is that the left wing is far more likely to report you than you are to report them, and that Twitter usually works off a reporting kind of system. But when you see it happen to bigger accounts and stuff, like look what happened with Milo. That was absolute garbage. I don't care what you think about Milo, but what happened to Milo was absolute fucking garbage. And if you don't think that had something to do with him swinging from the left over to the right, then you just didn't pay attention. You just didn't. Super Mutant says, I report people and nothing happens. Well, it also depends on what kind of report it is. It also depends on how many people report it. A single report may not get something in trouble. And I'm not for reporting unless it's a crime. I don't, a crime, you're doxing somebody, that kind of stuff. I don't report other stuff. But when people are like, why do conservatives get hit more on social media? It's because liberals are a bunch of goddamn pussies and love to report. They are the Karens, you guys. They want to speak to your manager at Twitter or YouTube or Facebook or wherever you happen to be. They want to talk to the manager about your ass. And they do it in spades. Eric Peters, thank you. Fuck Twitter. Take my 30%, Susan. That's a good time to remind you guys. I am brought to you by you. Jack, if you're out there, I know you're a wealthy man. If you're enjoying what you're hearing right now, sir, you can donate to me. There's a Streamlabs link that keeps going around. You're also welcome onto the show. I know you're not going to come, but you're welcome to come onto the show and explain yourself. Was that Straight Sith Mail says I report maps. So would I. Maps are, in my opinion, criminals. Don't tell. Look, I never actually touched one. I don't trust you. Fuck you. You're out there promoting the idea of it, of making it okay for that shit. And no. But truth be told, I don't come across many, and that's not me saying, please send me this shit, because I fought that fight. There's younger, stronger people to take up that mantle right now. Anyway, so Jack is worried about what is coming down with this executive order. And if I were him, I would be too, because with the laws as they are right now, if I was Donald Trump, the first thing I would do is stop the appeal. Right now, the case, 1 second, guys. Sorry, we need some nectar of the gods. I would stop the case, the appeal that's going through for the whole lawsuit about whether or not Donald Trump can block you on Twitter. I would leave it. Just stop it right there in its tracks. Be like, all right, bitches, let's play. I would order the Justice Department to stop that fucking suit, and I would issue an executive order that social media companies, due to the fact that it allows Americans to interact in the public square in a First Amendment right, or in a First Amendment basis with their leaders, you can't ban people unless it's for a criminal offense. That's what I would do. And I think Jack knows that's coming. I think Jack's worried about that coming, because this is going to take a lot of control away from his platform and turn it into a dumpster fire. I know we've talked about it being a dumpster fire, and it's gonna go from being a dumpster fire to being a target fire. Too soon. Can he do that? Nuts. What he could do is order the Justice Department to go after Twitter for that. Be like, look, this is a free speech violation for any American. Any American who's been kicked off of this, who hasn't committed a crime, has a free speech right to be here to interact with me. That's what the courts have ruled. That's what I would do. It's exactly what I'd fucking do. Yeah, let's play, dickheads. Let's play. Go ahead and blink. And the funny part about this is they didn't even need to do that. They didn't even need to do what they did yesterday. You have people. There have been people people weren't upset about this tweet. That's the weird thing. All of the chatter that's been going on the last several days, it had nothing to do with those tweets. Instead, it was about the insinuation that Joe Scarborough might be a murderer. That's That's where the crux of it came from. That's where most of the screaming and screeching came from. And Twitter decides to go after this. Now, again, if they just put a little note, saying that, hey, in order to get a ballot, you do have to register. That's all they had to do. That little note, which would have fit there in their link. You do need to register in California, period. That's it. That's all they had to say. You could have linked that to each one of them. The end. And I think most people would have been like, all right, fair enough. Yes, you just still had a whole bunch of people like, you don't do this to others. And they don't. But at least even in that case, I should rephrase that. For me, it wouldn't have been a problem at that point. I'd be like, all right, that's fair. That's fair. What they did wasn't fair at all. It was a link to a slanted fucking CNN post. I mean, from Chris Cillizza of all fucking people. What, was Jim Acosta not available to write the hit piece for this? Oh my God. Oh, anyway, so yeah, Jack is scared. Jack is trying to fix what his employees did. I don't know if he was involved in this or not, but given that statement that he made, I don't think he was directly involved. He might have been, but I don't think he was. Because look, the buck stops with me. That's usually the kind of shit. It's not like I made the decision. See what I say? I'm ultimately responsible. That's true. But you hired that idiot. You got two choices, Jack. You can't. Well, actually, you fucked the pooch already. What's coming is coming. I don't know what Trump's planning to do. Maybe it won't be a big deal. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll end up in a court fight for years. We'll see what happens. But I do know that Jack is scared. That was an attempt to save his ass, and we will be updating it. All right, update it. That's fine. But why in the fuck has it been sitting out there for 2 days now with this attached to it? You linked a fucking Chris Cillizza article that didn't mention anything about registering. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Oh, man. And you don't do this to everyone. And if the standard is going to be if it can make people unsure about when or how to vote, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because you don't see that a lot. That's not something that comes up very often. Most people are like, go to the polls on the right day. You know what I mean? And in this case, I mean, that's still, Trump doesn't, it can be read if you're being charitable that Trump meant to register voters. But okay, let's not be charitable. Let's pretend we work at Twitter. Then just put the actual thing you're trying to say there. You still have to register in California to get a vote. Done. Or again, link to the California Secretary of State's office where it would have the actual voting requirements. That would be a really good way to go about it, Jack. Speaking of which, Jack, I have not heard my alert go off for whatever your nice donation is. He's not going to donate. He doesn't like me anymore. Jack's never liked me. I don't think Jack, unlike Susan, does not care about my dick. It's sad too. That's definitely a way to get him on the show, right? But yeah, so I've been watching this for the last couple of hours and just like, you can't be serious. And then it's like, oh, you're scared. I can't wait to see what the executive order is tomorrow. It's supposed to be out. After we wake up. Whenever Trump releases this, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what the reaction is. I can't wait to see. There's already a whole bunch of people that are like, oh my God, he's going after free speech. There's a couple of things we do need to mention. One, Twitter did not in any way limit Trump's speech. They didn't. They gave a counter argument, which was stupid and does kind of looks like an editorial there, Jackie. Look like you're taking editorial control of what people are allowed to say. When you give a direct response like that, that's not a good look. Not a good look. And maybe that's what Trump's thing will be, that they can't give an editorial response to a candidate's post like that and keep their Section 230 protections. We'll see we'll have to see what happens there. But there's also a lot of people who are out there chanting that Trump is trying to take away the free speech rights of others. That if you don't stand up against Trump on this, then you aren't for free speech. Well, I don't know what Trump's going to do. I can't say that Trump is being anti-free speech when the only thing he's said is that something is going to be done. You know what I mean? For all we know, he could be writing this won't happen, but for all we know, his executive order could be to make a special commendation for Jack for making sure people know when to vote. But everybody, he's gonna stifle their free speech. He's hurting them because they dared it. If you can look at what happened there with the tweet and then what was followed up with, and not see that there's some really funky bias going on there, then you're a blind partisan, period. That doesn't mean people on the other side aren't partisans too, but at least they're right on this one. What Twitter did there was nonsense. And their explanation is even more fucking nonsense. But we'll see what happens in a few hours. It'll be interesting. I hope it's something that causes a whole bunch of people to lose their fucking minds, because it'll be a lot of fun. I do also hope that he doesn't do anything that actually is a violation of free speech. But again, at this point with that court ruling, frankly, you should be able to sue Twitter if you get kicked off. Again, unless it's for some crime. If it's just some TOS violation, some random nonsense that they made up, they shouldn't be allowed to limit your access to the president. That's what the court ruled. So anyhow, moving along, somebody, I think it was Snub, asked if I saw Amy Schumer was trending. I did. And I think it was right before the show. I saw that you had mentioned it. So I went and looked why. This is amazing. And it there's a lot of stuff we need to talk about. I kind of want to do the serious stuff first, and then we'll get into Amy Schumer. The serious stuff is there have been riots around the country, and these are not peaceful protests. These are fucking riots. They're burning, they're looting, and this isn't helpful. And there's a lot of people that, once again, this is all tribal right now. It's all tribal, one side or the other. You have to support the riots if you support George. No, I don't. I want justice for George, and I want these riots to stop, because none of this is good for society. I'm not conflating George's life with somebody's stolen TV. That's not it. But rioting is a crime. You're stealing from people. You're destroying their lives. And some asshole, well, because Target was one of the biggest targets. I'm sure Target has insurance. You know what happens, guys? And we saw this in Ferguson. And we see this in a lot of black communities where this kind of stuff happens. You'll have some major fucking retarded riot like this, and businesses will absolutely be destroyed. And you know what happens? They don't get rebuilt. They don't get rebuilt. And you know why? It's not because they don't want to build in a black neighborhood. A lot of times it's because insurance becomes too expensive to do business there. You're fucking yourselves, burning down your own. And I'm not telling you to go burn down anybody else's place, but you are fucking yourselves, burning down your own fucking neighborhoods. Because in a lot of these cases, you guys didn't know George. You're not out there. You're not breaking the window to Target and trying to set the place on fire and lighting up a Jiffy Lube or whatever the fuck it was they set on fire because you're just such a great friend of George, and you're really depressed, as some moron actually suggested. Like, he's dead. What are we supposed to do with this if you're a family or friend of him? Probably not burn down your neighborhood. Throwing that out there. But there are thousands of people out there doing this shit. And I would guess the overwhelmingly vast majority of them didn't know George from Adam. But the real story of this is a young man has been killed. Young man has been killed. He is an alleged looter, was shot to death by a pawn shop owner, allegedly. And there's video of him dying on the sidewalk as the police are trying to do CPR on this poor kid. And I know people go, poor kid, he was a looter. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want anybody else to be dying from this stupid shit, you know? I feel like this is the time for the death and the anger and all that shit to stop, you know? I get being angry, but you don't take that out and go out there and destroy your surroundings because you're angry. That's not how society works. And this isn't a white or black thing. There's an awful lot of you white folks out there tearing down shit and burning shit and beating police cars and stupid shit. So it's not white or black. Right now, what you have is rioters. They don't give a shit about George Floyd. Not even a little bit. They're using George Floyd to get themselves new TVs and to break shit. There's footage from inside that Target. It is stripped clean. I need this toothbrush for George. I need this Nintendo for George. Actually, probably couldn't get a Nintendo because there's none around. But okay, this Nintendo game. Games are still out there. I need this for George. You don't give a fuck about George. Go sit your fucking criminal ass down. I saw a whole bunch of people whining because they used tear gas yesterday to break up the crowds. Like, you know what? This is going to end up in some serious violence. This one kid getting shot, I hope it ends there. I really do. I'm not sure it's going to, because we have tomorrow night and we'll see what happens. Yeah. It's not a good time. Not a good time at all. There. Now we got that shit out of the way. Needed to be discussed, but let's talk about Amy Schumer, because the reason she's trending is fucking amazing. They're having a discussion on what is it? P. Diddy has a show called Family Meeting. Is that what it's called? And the invited guests on here was Amy Schumer and Don King. Or not, I'm sorry, not Don King. Whoops, Sean King. Don King would make sense. At least he was black. Amy Schumer and Sean King brought on to Black News to talk about it. Well, I mean, you got to bring the white lady on to tell black people how to live, right? I know we're not supposed to say that out loud, but that's what liberals think. You got to bring the white girl on to tell them how to behave proper. Yeah, I don't know if this is. It just says Diddy. I'm assuming TD. I don't know, but T.I., Sean King, Stephen Jackson, and more on George Floyd and police brutality. And Amy Schumer is on there. I just don't. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. She's a U.S. citizen. She's a human. She's okay to give her opinions, but what? Sean King wasn't insulting enough to your fucking black audience? You got to bring on Amy fucking Schumer? I have a theory Sean King has spent his whole life not supporting Joe Biden. That may be it. Maybe that's it. That's why he lost all his black. That's a white motherfucker. That is a white motherfucker who's made his money, and I do mean money, ripping off black people over their tragedies. Good job. She's an idiot. She couldn't even name her kids right. Yeah. She had to change her kid's name because didn't it come out to be something like genital? What was it? Something Attell. Gene Attell. Is that what they named? What they were naming it? I forget what the Gene was named for, but the Attell was after comedian Dave Attell, so she named her child Gene Attell. And Razor Fist is on the warpath on Twitter right now. What's Razor Fist upset about? I'm not over there really paying attention. I'm mostly going over things that I've already tweeted and stuff. So I follow him, absolutely. but I haven't been paying attention to my Twitter since I decided to go ahead and start up the stream here, you guys. We're going to be getting off of this kind of stuff because was it Jen Attell? No, it was Gene, wasn't it? Gene Attell, because it was a boy, if I remember correctly. Wait on Razor. What is Razor doing? Let's see. Minnesota is in this intense. Is he arguing with somebody over what's going on? And you know what? We should talk about that too. A little lighthearted news. John Migda, thank you. Got 2 switches today. Thanks, unemployment. How were you able to get them? Holy shit! Last I knew, they were still out, man. I know people who are looking for them, but they don't want to pay $500, especially when the manufacturer, the suggested retail price is what, $399, $299 for the slim or light or whatever it's called. Anyhow, we actually talked about this briefly during Lords of the Night, but Dr. Eugene Gu had this to say about the riots going on in let's see, California. There was New York. Was one in Florida? I can't remember. And then, of course, Minneapolis, where George Floyd was killed. Eugene Gu said this: they stepped on George Floyd's neck. Actually, they didn't. They kneeled on it, which is arguably not better, but I mean, let's be honest, let's be real. Publicly lynched him. No, you're wrong again. I think they murdered that man, but again, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was done out of this cop being a jackass, showing the people that even you guys telling me to stop is not going to make me stop. Look how big and bad I am. That's what I think happened there. But anyway, let's read his in its entirety. They stepped on George Floyd's neck, publicly lynched him. We all watched him cry out for his mama with his last breath on our cell phones. Looting is the first sign of a revolution because we're dying in a pandemic, losing our jobs, suffering. This is just the beginning. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, Eugene. You're a fucking pussy. You're not even going to go. This motherfucker, he's talking revolution right there, guys. He's revolution. You think he's going to go get in the street? That pussy ass motherfucker is going to stay behind his keyboard in his expensive apartment with his well furnished European leather, I'm sure. I'm guessing there, guys, allegedly. But this rich motherfucker ain't going to put his ass on the line out there. What the fuck do you mean we? I love this shit. I love when you see these fucking jackass elitist Democrats, these fucking lefties, rich lefties, man, when they encourage things like social upheaval for the resistance. But they ain't down there doing nothing about it. The closest Eugene has got to any resistance is he was part of the lawsuit against Donald Trump for being banned on Twitter, blocked on Twitter. That is the extent of his manliness. He took him to court because he got blocked on Twitter. You the man. You the fucking man. You're a revolutionary, you fucking doofus. I also saw I forget the chick's name, something Fisher, some blue check mark. She tweeted out that the race war is coming. She stands with hashtag Black Lives Matter, and that they're gonna win because they have to. And like, you a honky, right? If the race war is coming, and you can think you're on the winning side and say I'm on Black Lives Matter side, but if it's a race war and white people lose, you're white. I don't think a race war is coming. I think there's a lot of people who want a race war to come. And that's a sad statement on our society because we don't need that shit. We should be settling down. That's one of the reasons I'm so annoyed with people trying to make the George Floyd thing about race. It's not. It's about police brutality. And and a system that allows it sometimes. They had reportedly they have body cams on these guys, so they shouldn't have needed the footage from the cell phones for them to come out and go, yeah, these guys killed this man. That should have been the first thing they did. They should have their tweet, instead of whatever that crap was they tried to push on us as an officer involved death. It should have been just whoops, our bad. But yeah, these fuckers want to. Some of them want a race war. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're a liberal wanting a race war. That's fucking retarded. Go sit down. What about everybody getting along? When did that stop being a thing? Do we have to go back to the last major riot? I know Ferguson was a riot, but no, the last really major riot that I remember really was man, when LA lit up after Rodney King. Holy fuck. Made that shit that happened in Ferguson look like romper room. The racist militants have no idea what is waiting for them, with the number of American combat veterans still prepared to defend their country. You know, if a race war comes, let's be honest for a minute. Let's say a race war comes. Who wins? Me? No. Satsu? Nope. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what side wins. You know who wins? White supremacists. That's who wins. The more you push for this shit, you know who's winning? White supremacists. Because right now, they can go, look, they're pushing for a race war. They want to rub you out. Good fucking job giving these fucking nincompoops some fucking ammunition. All the stuff we laugh at them for saying, you idiots are out there encouraging, you fucking morons. Eric Peters, thank you. Race makes money. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. Thank you for the donation there. You know what else makes money? Donations from you guys. It helps me eat. So if you guys like the show, please hit like, please subscribe, please share. Sharing is very important. And if you can, anything, nothing is expected. Everything is appreciated when it comes to donations. So thank you guys. Who's a guy that got pulled out of his truck? Reginald Denny. That was his name. They beat the absolute fuck out of that man. They hit him in the head with a cinder block, didn't they? Yeah, I remember that. I remember that one very well. Scary times, scary times. We don't need that shit. We don't. And maybe part of it is that we are just all locked up in our house, and maybe part of it is the brutality that we saw there and the absolute callousness of that cop. All of them involved, actually. But this should be a moment to be like, all right, yeah, these guys need to go to jail. Everybody calm down. Let's see if they go to jail. How about we wait just a few minutes before you burn down everything? How about we wait to see if any justice is served? You know what I mean? Don't riot before you even know if they're going to be arrested. Now, if the DA comes out tomorrow and goes, we're not going to do charges, and you go, all right, I'm lighting the bitch up. I mean, I'm not going to agree with you, but at least it makes more sense than doing it now. You know what I mean? It's like there's no timing with these people. Their timing sucks. Now I'm going to get in trouble because I'm making jokes about the timing of riots. Somebody's going to clip that one day and go, this motherfucker said this. Yeah, I made a joke. I make jokes all the time, and I do not apologize for them. So go fuck yourselves. I'm not you guys. I'm talking to anybody who's clipping this in the future. I'm not Jimmy Fallon. Did you see that bullshit? This motherfucker came out and apologized because he wore blackface back in 2000. One, no. You wore dark makeup to make yourself look like Chris Rock. Blackface is a very specific thing that modern morons have turned into any time you might dress up like a black person. Oh my God, that's black. Did you see Robert Downey Jr. in blackface? Jack Dorsey, thank you so much. This show would be better if there was someone named Jack on here. Oh, well, maybe in a bit. Jack Dorsey, thank you so much. See my tweet, sir, and I appreciate your donation. Yeah, and Jack has the link. I know when I started, they were still doing comic book curation, so yeah. But I lost my train of thought there. Oh well, couldn't have been very interesting. Oh, to Jimmy Fallon, he Blackface was minstrel shows. Those were a very specific thing. Now you're not allowed to wear costume makeup. That's fucking retarded. That's taking it too far. And apologizing for that stuff is stupid. Stop doing it. Now, if you're doing it the way, say, Ralph Northam and his friend did in their yearbook picture, all right, maybe that's worth apologizing over. Maybe you go, you know what? I was a dumbass kid. I did something stupid, because that was blackface. That wasn't I'm just a black man. That was blackface. That was I'm going to make fun of Negroes, and look, I got this guy in his Klan costume. It's going to be so funny. No, that's your minstrel show bullshit. When you talk about Jimmy Fallon doing a skit where he's pretending to be Chris Rock, that's not blackface. It's a desecration of what that word or what that phrase means. You're sucking the life out of everything. Everything. You're ruining language. Anyhow. Yeah, I don't apologize for my jokes, except for, to go, okay, that was bad. I'm sorry, jokingly. But I mean, they're jokes. If you can't get a joke, if you can't take a joke, go take a dick. I don't care about people who have no sense of humor. People with no sense of humor are Democrats, and they tend to be assholes. Sorry, Democrats who are listening, all both of you. Our sense of humor is important. Our sense of humor helps keep us, what's the word I'm looking for here? Sane. Sane. Comedy brings sanity. But no. You got to apologize for shit you literally did 20 years ago that was not done in the spirit of minstrel shows. And that's absolutely asinine to me. Absolutely asinine. But they're out there doing it, man. They're out there apologizing. They cannot. Jimmy Fallon actually said, "Thank you for bringing this to my attention." Motherfucker, you knew what you did. You've known for 20 years what you did. SNL, the show you did it on, knew what you did. 2000 was when it was taped for a live studio audience. The fuck are you guys talking about? Thank you for bringing it to my attention. There's this that's their way of saying thank you for shaming me. That's become the new thing. Anytime something from somebody's past comes up, and the wokest among them, that is their line. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. You were right for bringing this to my attention. You were right for shaming me. Dear Christ, have some fucking balls, Jimmy. That's right. When it comes to Jimmy, when you guys look at him, do you not get the impression that he is just a scared little girl inside? He seems like a funny enough guy when I've seen him. I don't watch him very often. Certainly funnier than Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, dear God. What a tragic nightline in waiting he is. But Becca has a milestone today that should embarrass her. What's your milestone, Becca? What's up? I heard that the D is good for you. Becca, what in the world are you talking about, lady? Are you being dirty in my chat? Kimmel's an invertebrate, and it's disgusting. I know I've talked about this before, but some of you are new, so I'm gonna have this rant again. Jimmy Kimmel is the kind of comedian that I absolutely fucking hate, because he's one of these guys who gets big doing something that at the time is known to be risque, at least. He was on a show called The Man Show, a show that celebrated women jumping on trampolines. And that's how they ended every show, objectifying women. It's not like in the 90s this was an okay thing. People were like, "Oh, nah, that's Now, not everybody. There were a lot of us who watched the show and like, "Yeah, that's cool. I don't care." And the show was funny at times. But once he made it big, y'all, nobody else should do that kind of comedy. It's not funny. It's not funny. I apologize for what I did back then. I'm not giving back any of these checks that I've been cashing since then, but I definitely do think anybody who does that's a dick. I used to be a dick. I'm not a dick anymore. Yeah, somebody said he's a gate closer. Yeah, I mean, he's one of these. He's a fucking hypocrite is what he is. And people are, no, sometimes people grow and change. Yeah, it's amazing how getting a fat bank account and wanting to keep it will make you change what you say publicly. Becca says, yesterday was my 14th wedding anniversary. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. I hope your husband was able to be home because that's awesome. That's really cool. 14 years. Does it seem that long? I know when I look back, because what is this? I think we're coming up on 27 this year. It doesn't seem like that. When I look back over my life, it's like my wife is always there, but it doesn't feel like we've 26 years, man. That's a lifetime. It's a fucking lifetime, man. But yeah, even at 14, it goes so fast. Enjoy it. And again, I do hope you were able to Monkey sing happy anniversary. I don't sing happy anniversary. That's a different show. Anyway, Kimmel's a cocksucker, and he's a hypocrite, and he hasn't paid for what he claims are his own mistakes. You know what I mean? These are things that he thinks are wrong, and he said so. You know, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, he's even defended part of it. Like, look, those girls, they all consented. Yeah, of course they did. They were on fucking TV. Yes, I know you have consent forms. You were still out there objectifying them for fame and money, dickhead. Which, by the way, I don't have a problem with. No problem in the world. But you, sir, are a hypocritical scumbag because you sure as fuck haven't given away all your money. You haven't gone and got a job at Walmart giving away all your money because your fame was unearned because you got it in a disgusting way. You never see him do that. You never see him go, you know what? This fat ass bank account of mine, I got it under dubious terms. And I'm really ashamed of what I did. I shouldn't be well known. I should give this all up and just go be a nobody with the rest of you. Nope. That Tonight Show gig pays well, man. Did you hear Paul Feig is blaming Trump for Ghostbusters 2016? No. I don't pay much attention to Paul Feig. I've been in church my whole life, never seen anyone as religiously dogmatic as the leftists. You know, it depends, you know. It depends. It's weird because, yeah, they have that cultish mentality, but like going after Jimmy Fallon for something he did in 2000. There's plenty of time between 2000 and now. And even back in 2000, it wasn't necessarily considered okay to be running around with black makeup on, dressing up like a black guy in black face paint. I'm being very careful because I don't want to say blackface because it's not blackface. It's what it was called even back then. So yeah, let's call it that. It wasn't cool to be running around in blackface, but nobody tried to cancel him in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2000. You guys get the point. China is asshole. Thank you, Mighty Balzac. Indeed, they are. Yeah, I don't like these, especially with comedians. I mean, I don't know if I've seen it with very many other things, but comedians are, and I use that term lightly because I guess I see it on YouTube too, because Philip DeFranco is another one that I absolutely fucking despise over this alone. Philip DeFranco came up being an absolute scumbag on YouTube. He almost wears this as a badge of pride that he's willing to admit he used to be a scumbag. You haven't given up that audience yet, have you, scumbag? You haven't given up that fat wallet that you got and gone and got yourself a real job now, have you? Of course not. You're making a difference now. You've grown. Shut the fuck up. Out there willing to call out people who came up the same way you do and treat them like dirt. Even if they were as young as you were when you did it. You fucking prick. It's just not funny, man. Shut up. You're a douche. You're a hypocritical douche. Philly D threw It's a Gundam under the bus after Gundam lost his sponsor because he joked on Pokemon. I don't know who Gundam is. I only know Pokimane very cursorily. I don't know how to say that word. I used it properly yesterday, apparently. Very little. I know very little about her. I don't much care about her either. I've seen her, and I guess she's a cute little thing. Cute enough. I haven't watched any of her content, so I don't know if she's any good or not. The name Pokimane, and isn't she like some kind of gamer or something? I just don't care about her. Maybe she does great work, and I should have watched it. But I did watch a video tonight, which was really, really interesting, and we're gonna segue a little bit into YouTube. There's a new video by Turkey Tom about Ethan Klein and why everybody hates Ethan. And it's weird because the whole time, why is my comments frozen over here? 1 second, guys. What is going on? You guys are still getting me in chat, right? Yes, Dangerous. I said it right yesterday. You don't have to correct me because I was wrong today. We're just going to go with the fact I was right one time. It's what I do. Yeah, my chat actually on StreamYards is frozen. Huh. All right. Anyway, so this is a video about Ethan Klein. And the whole time, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but Turkey Tom usually doesn't go light on people. If he's going to make his video about him, he goes like all in on him. He seemed very hesitant to do that with Ethan. He talks very much about how beloved Ethan is and how Ethan he's had a couple of these moments of people loving him and how he wants to still love him. He wants to like what Ethan does. So it was not a video that was just out there to destroy. This wasn't a Keemstar video. How about we put it that way? If you guys know what's going on between Keem and Ethan, they've been in a pissing match for the last couple of, what is it, week and a half now? But it wasn't that kind of thing. This was more, why do people not like Ethan? And they go over a lot of the reasons. I think he breaks it down into 6 chapters that goes over FUPA, goes over all kinds of just asinine shit from Ethan. And he pointed out something that I don't watch Ethan's podcast. I think I've seen 2 episodes fully. And I've seen clips, when something comes up, but otherwise I think maybe 2. He points out that Ethan seems to be trying to emulate Howard Stern. And as I was watching the video, I was like, wow, you're not wrong. If you look at what he's doing and the kind of setups and stuff he does and the weird way he wants to abuse mentally disabled people, yeah, he wants to be Howard Stern desperately. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to set yourself up to be successful, emulate people who've done it better than you. There's nothing wrong with doing that. unless you're Ethan and have actually publicly come out and talked about your friends and how horrible they are for mistreating, defenseless, retarded people. And now you're using them to, make money yourself. Hypocrite. So that's my biggest problem with Ethan is he's a fucking hypocrite. The FUPA thing, I really don't give too much of a shit about. I think he used that to help push himself. If you follow the timeline, because the whole FUPA thing, for those of you who don't know, what is it? Fair Use Protection Act Association. I can't remember what the A stands for. But this was a thing that it originally started out as a way to pay for their legal bills. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to need all this money. I'm going to start this foundation that'll help all people with copyright claims on YouTube. And the money just went away. According to this video, it makes perfect sense that the money went away. According to other people, it doesn't. For me, it doesn't, because if you follow the timeline of when this happened, by the time the lawsuit was ended, Ethan was making bank. I mean, just bank. Tons of money. Hand over fist from YouTube. And if he was really wanting to set this thing up to help other people, then he could have easily said, you know what, I'm not taking any more of that money. I'm just using my own, the end. He didn't do that. He still spent the other money, which again was raised for him. But when you say something like that, I'm going to do this, then you probably should do it. Just throwing that out there. Andy's trolling Ethan and Keem, telling them to just fucking get it over with. Which Andy are we talking about here? Because I saw that what's his name is coming back. Andy. Well, shit, I lost his last name. Fuck, the one who set his nipples on fire. But anyway. As for Ethan and Keem, man, I don't want them to start. Yeah, Worski, that's his name. I don't want them to stop. Keep this shit going. I think it's funny. I think it's absolutely funny watching Ethan accuse Keem of being Ethan. It's funny because Ethan, you're a douchey hypocrite. You are Keem, man. You are Keem. I like the drama of it. Now, what I don't like is how they've gone after each other's sponsors, and I think that here's something you guys should know. And Ethan, I know you're not listening to this, but somebody who knows and like, here, play this. Monkey has some advice for you. Don't get into a fight with somebody you think is willing to go as dirty as you think Keem is. And especially don't start that out by going after their sponsor, which you absolutely did, you lying piece of shit. Because if the other guy has no morals, he's going to destroy you if you have any. Now, I don't think you have any, but and that was evidenced by the fact that you made a whole video repeatedly talking about how G Fuel still sponsors this shithead Keem, and then tried to pretend you weren't going after his sponsor. You lying dick. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch for me because I enjoy internet drama. I'm curious how this is going to affect the rest of the internet community. There's a lot of people, and I was kind of on board with this at the beginning, to think this is going to cause a sponsorship adpocalypse because you don't know. I'm fairly certain Old Spice didn't know that there was a whole stream of Ethan chanting, and sorry, YouTube, I have to say it because people should know what I'm actually saying here, chanting nigger faggot over and over and talking about how much fun it was to say. You think Old Spice knew that when they signed up with that idiot? Probably not. Now, maybe they did. Maybe Dollar Shave Club won't care. Maybe their Adam and Eve sponsorship won't care. But a lot of major companies will. And Ethan and Gila, I don't know if they bought their house outright, but even if they did, the taxes on that place have to be expensive as fuck, dude. They're at $9 million. $9 million. That's the kind of house they built off YouTube money during the whole FUPA thing. So that gets lost in the Ethan thing. Ethan and Gila, they weren't that big and they weren't that loved until that happened. Yeah, people liked their stuff. They were a growing channel. But it wasn't until that they suddenly blew up to the point where they could go buy a $9 million house while they bitched at you about how poor they were and couldn't pay their legal fees. So he has a vested interest in staying monetized. And I don't blame him, man. Look, man, I make you money, son, but you're a lying prick. Which, by the way, is how the video ends with Turkey Tom going, so why don't people like Ethan? Because he's a liar. He doesn't actually, I don't think he calls him a liar. Does he say you can't trust him? Maybe he did call him a liar. I don't remember that, though. Yeah, that's the basic gist, though. He called him a liar because he's a fucking liar. Am I weird for thinking Gila's kind of hot? I don't find her attractive at all, but I mean, she's not like grotesquely ugly. No, I mean, and she doesn't do that weird thing with her eyebrows, so she's definitely above him. JK is back in the news. JK, just kidding? I don't know who JK is in that instance. Because he looks like a carny. Oh God, he is a carny. Actually, he is. To an extent, all of us out here are. Trying to get your attention, trying to get you to come watch us. So here's what I've decided. I am going to steal Ethan's shtick. I'm going to become the new Howard Stern. I'm going to become the Ethan Klein being Howard Stern show. What do y'all think? Would you guys tune in for that stupid shit? I need to get guests first. Couldn't even get the porn star to come talk, probably because I'm too political. So I have to find somebody who's more political. I wonder if there's a comedian who would come talk with us some night. That would be fun. I'm much more interested in talking to a comedian than I am even a porn star. Nothing against what's her name, Kate. She was perfectly nice when we were on Lords of the Night together, but I find comedians to be fascinating, and she says she is a comedian, so maybe that's part of why I like, because the porn stuff doesn't appeal to me. Hang on, I am not saying I don't like porn. You guys have heard me joke. I've only ever seen it through the Christian Science Monitor, and while that's true, yeah, I don't. I'm not ashamed of liking porn. There was a guy on Twitter the other day. Said something to the effect of shame men who like porn or some stupid shit like that. Like, oh, fuck yourself. I believe his name was Josh, because I told Josh to suck my dick. I remember telling guys to suck my dick because I don't say it that often. Get Brian Stelter on. He's a comedian. I would love to talk to Brian Stelter. That would be fun. I'd like to ask him if he scares children when he walks by. Like, do you think there's pictures of Brian Stelter up in candy stores? You know, like, don't sell candy to this man. Not because he actually does anything. I'm not suggesting he's a pedophile. I think he looks like a pedophile. He really does. Brian Stelter looks like every pedophile in every movie ever. The only thing he's missing is a weird comb over, because that would just seal the deal. Again, I'm not saying he's a pedophile. I don't want anybody to go, monkey called Brian. No, he looks like a pedophile. That's entirely different. And that's on him, because he could change his look, man. Pictures of Brian Stelter with a windowless van. I don't think he should be allowed to buy a van either. Just because, I mean, look at him. Look at it. He shouldn't be allowed to go to kids' parties, nothing like that. I just don't. All right, I'm going to stop joking. He does look like a pedophile, though. Bicycle Man episode from Different Strokes. Yes, Wikipedia. He's got that look, doesn't he? Maybe that's what tainted my whole worldview of what a pedophile looks like. I saw that when that first came. That was a very special episode of Different Strokes. Remember the guy? He got Arnold to take his shirt off so he could take pictures of him. Showed him nudie magazine. Was it nudie magazines or just nude pictures? I can't remember. Gave him candy and ice cream. Yeah, that shit was weird. They used to do that back in the day. They would show us really disturbing episodes of comedies on a very special Blossom. Okay, Blossom wasn't necessarily a comedy. I like Blossom. Not saying I really loved Six, man. God, I had the biggest boner for her. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. Don't worry, I'm the same age, so it wasn't creepy. I need to buy a Tim Pool van. Does Tim Pool have a van? Tim Pool to me doesn't look like a pedo. Tim Pool to me looks like a shooter. He looks like a freeway shooter. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying you're a freeway shooter, Tim. I just think you look like one. Wait, you can't make fun of people. Nobody's seen what you look like. Irate Alex thinks I look like Luke Skywalker. Take it for what there. Now you guys can make fun of me for looking like Luke. Tim Pool looks like a hippie. He looks like how do I want to put this? Because I know he actually does skate, but he looks like a suburban kid thinks a skater dresses. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, I think he looks like a fucking freeway shooter. Young Luke, I don't think so, but yeah, that's what he said. If my beard is out and I have that homeless look, I can see the comparison to Luke when he's drinking that green titty milk. But he didn't say that one. He mentioned younger Luke, so I don't know. Holy hell, what did I just walk into? Mr. Potato Head owning a van. Johnny, we're shooting the shit at the moment right now because I forgot what I was talking about and I got off topic because somebody brought up Stelter. Interest. Oh, I was talking about having guests on because sometimes people from our audience come in and that's great. Don't get me wrong, but I have thought about the idea of having guests on because that seems to be a good way to grow. And I wonder if there's some like smaller time comedians that would be willing to come on. I wouldn't do it every night because that'd just be too much. We do this shit most weeks, 7 nights a week. So I don't know if I could find that many guests, but once a week or twice a week, have an interview show. That would be awesome. John Megda, thank you. First time I heard you, I thought you were a person of color. Somebody said that just the other day that they'd been listening to me since 2017, and I'd mentioned that I was white. Was this yesterday, guys? I think it was yesterday. And like I've been listening to you all this time. I thought you were a black man. I don't hear it, but I know other people do, and it's been said since I started this show that people are like, yeah, I thought you were black. I am a honky. I mean, capital H all the way through the whole word. I'm not translucent. People say, no, I glow in the fucking dark. That's how white I am. You hold me up to a light for a little bit, turn off the lights, and I glow. Just saying. Like Vanilla Ice and Ice Ice Baby. Tim's van is white with candy painted down the side. Does Tim actually have a van? Because now y'all are making me wonder if Tim actually has a van. Beth says, yeah, it was yesterday. I appreciate that, Beth, because these really do run together for me unless I'm talking about a specific subject. There's just so much said that, yeah, the days of the week. You glow in the dark like an LED bulb. Yeah. No, I glow in the dark like a kid's toy when you hold it up to the light. I think those are the worst toys ever. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because Little Butt is absolutely enthralled with glow in the dark. She loves glow in the dark. So we have like glow in the dark paints for when we do our art time. I have a rock right here that we painted. We painted it yellow, and when you turn off the lights, it glows. It's really cool. But the lights are never off in this room. But you give kids these toys, it's like, it glows in the dark. Like, cool. You can't really play in the dark. Not as dark as you need it to be able to tell something's actually glowing. It's like the worst fucking toy ever. Like slap some glow in the dark paint on it and the kid can stare at it in the dark for a couple of minutes and then come out and play for real. Just throwing that out there. Okay, time for bed before I get yelled at. Angry Illinoisan, have a good night. And again, happy birthday to your family, man. His children and wife have the same birthday. Can we agree that is both the best and worst present to give to your wife? Sorry, Angry. I love you, man, but the gift of a child is amazing too, even because twins. Awesome. Labor pains and stretched vajayjays. Whew, dude. That's kind of a way. I mean, over the years, obviously, it became much better. But that first night, man, holy shit, dude. Bad thing is they were due August 15th. Oh my God. So they were born quite early too. Okay, so maybe the vajayjay didn't get as stretched. That's all right. No, but seriously, man, happy birthday to your kids and your wife, man. That's awesome. Still, man, I think once a year on her birthday, if I did that to Lady Monkey, she would have punched me in my nuts. Like, happy birthday to me. I DM'd you Tim's van. Oh, thank you, Jaeger Pony, and thank you for the donation. That made me notice that my that's weird. My StreamYard's chat started moving when I got that donation. That's StreamYards wants you guys to donate to Monkey. Speaking of which, don't forget, like and share, guys. Like and share. Are there any small comedians you guys know? I really would like to talk to a working comedian. I find that that phrasing a little bit offensive, only because people will look at somebody and be like, "You're not really a comedian. Have you ever been up on stage?" Like, no, I haven't. But I do make people laugh for a living, so fuck you. But an actual working comedian, and talk about their time and their thoughts and stuff, because I think that'd be interesting. Ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you. Tim does have a van. If you watch the videos he's posted right before his last appearance on Joe Rogan, it was in his van. Oh, that's did he have that for doing like field work, or is that just some weird shit he bought? Look, I have a van. A minivan is my favorite vehicle, and I know people will be like, "That's so gay." You know what? I don't care. Me and my hair are happy with my van, and here's why. It's roomy. The first time I sat in a minivan, because before I ever did, I was like, "Oh, that's horrible. No, I'd never get in one of those." And then I got in one, and like, I'm home. Being claustrophobic, it's hard for me to get into cars sometimes. I'm a 6 foot tall dude that is mostly upper body. Those cabins are small, and I have to put the seat, the seats that'll go up and down. Oh, thank God for those. But I have a very long torso, so I feel cramped in a car. Never get that feeling in the van. In the van, it's like I could live in here if I had to. Over on the Streamlabs, thank you so much, Cirque, who says, glow-in-the-dark toys was really a safety feature disguised as a play feature for kids. Safety so parents wouldn't step on the toys in the dark. Circa Zero, thank you so much for that. I can see that. No Monk, my Cadillac is roomy, baby. Yeah, I get you. But again, claustrophobic, long torso. Merle says, I used to do stand-up. Like working stand-up? Like, wow. That's awesome, man. Maybe I'll have you on sometime to talk to you about it if you'd be up for it. I like, but I have nowhere to share. Oh, that's all right. We always say that like and share, and if you can, toss money at us. And we mean all of that. Absolutely. But you guys just being here watching, that's the real support that you guys show that means the most. Don't get me wrong. When I'm eating, I'm very thankful for every donation. I'm always thankful for every donation. But the fact that you guys come out and watch, that's more than enough, man. 6'5", my man, plenty of room, Monks. How claustrophobic are you? My claustrophobia is weird too, because my mom was claustrophobic, but she couldn't take crowds. I don't mind crowds. My claustrophobia is all about whether or not I can get out quickly. And you could make the argument, you can't get out of a crowd quickly. Oh, the fuck I can't. Well, maybe not anymore, but when I was younger. Lady Monkey worked with me for a time at Walmart, and we had to go in for Blitz one day, Black Friday. And you get there and the place is already fucking crowded. And Lady Monkey does not like crowds. So I put my hand behind my back and grabbed hers, and she just stayed right behind me. And I just bulldozed right through the whole crowd because I'm a big motherfucker. I'm a nice guy, but I can move a crowd. Plus, if you guys ever need to move a crowd, I have the best way I've ever seen do it. We were at a party on the Grand. I forget what they call it. Maybe it was Party on the Grand River down in Grand Rapids. They had to sell it. I don't know if they still do it, but a celebration down there. And there was this festival on the Grand. Is that what it's called? I was with my cousin and his friend. Ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you. Wait, I don't have to donate. This damn script is so confusing. Well, remember, Ex-Bubba Hotep, the script is the script, which tells me I have to say you don't have to donate. So these things happen. Thank you so much for the donation, sir. But no, so we're in this down there, and we just get packed in, and we're done. It's like we need to fucking go home. Yes, in Michigan, Wikipedia. So we're standing there, and we need to get out. And my cousin's like, there's no way we can get out. And his friend, I forget his name, but he goes, I got it. And he turns and faces the way we need to go, and he shouts, I have a kid here that needs to pee. And the crowd just like the fucking parting of the Red Sea, man, just whoosh. Yeah, just you start shouting you have a kid that needs to pee. By the time you get past them, nobody will even notice it. But nobody wants to be peed on. I'm here to teach. I'm here to teach. Whatever you do, don't read the script. Yeah, the script is for Susan's purposes. What the hell? I think, okay. Just making sure I took care of some stuff. Party of the Yellow River. Yeah, right. That was the, I've only heard is Party on the Grand. Is that what it is? It's been a long time since I was down there for that. I mean, that was the year, and this was God. Holy shit, that was probably 27 years ago. This is right after they started redoing Grand Rapids and making it nice instead of it all looking like Division Street used to. Oh my God. Grand Rapids used to look like Detroit had a bad day. And now you go down there, it's actually a pretty nice place. There's still some rundown sections of it. There's still some industrial sections of it. But yeah, they actually do a really good job cleaning up Grand Rapids. But yeah, it used to look like Detroit's retarded little brother. It was the first time I went to Grand Rapids, I was like, why do they call it Grand? Because it was horrible, man. Right before you got married. I don't remember if we were married or not at the time. It was around that same time. I don't remember. I think my daughter had already been born, but I can't remember if we were married yet. Detroit looks like post-apocalyptic. Oh man, I haven't been down there. The last time I was in Detroit, God, that was also years and years ago. We went to a Tigers game. It was right after they went into the new stadium, and it was great. They were giving out these hats that day. They looked like ridiculous fisherman hats, and nobody was wearing them except me. I was like, "These are what? They're free hats. Why didn't you wear them?" They're like, "Because you look ridiculous, Frank." I'm like, "So I got a hat on." You see the pics Medicare posted of everything burning. I've been following Medicare's account all night for my information on this because he's been right on top of it. I haven't, since I started the show, I haven't looked though, nuts. If you guys are interested in what's going on in Minneapolis, and I didn't pay attention if he had anything from anywhere else, but yeah, Mr. Anti-Bully on Twitter. That's Mr. Medicare's friend on Twitter. He's been keeping up with it. RJ Bansma, thank you so much. When someone turns off the lights and see you glowing, they go, "Damn!" Thank you for the donation. I'm telling you, I could glow. I probably do glow in the dark. South Park free hat episode. No, it was great. But you don't venture off in Detroit unless you have to. It's very much like going to Cleveland. Cleveland and Detroit are ugly sister cities. Although Cleveland actually has some life brought back to it lately. Their sports teams suck, but there's some life brought back into it. What was that? Somebody had mentioned one person died. Oh yeah, one person died. That was a kid shot. And I say kid, I don't know, but watching him get CPR there on the ground, he looked like a kid. I would guess teens at most. Yeah, shot by somebody who owns a what kind of store was it again? Fuck, I forget the name of the store. The kind of store. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Fuck, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, horrible things going on down there. I don't agree with any of that shit. Everybody needs to stop it. Just stop. Pawn shop, thank you, Dangerous. I said it earlier, and it was on the tip of my tongue. You know what kept holding me up? I kept thinking we always go into these in 7 days to die, and Crack-a-Book kept coming into my mind. I'm like, it's not a Crack-a-Book. It's not a Crack-a-Book. It's not a Crack-a-Book. Yeah, it was a pawn shop. Yeah, reportedly. Again, this is all stuff that's on the fly. I mean, everybody's watching it happen live. So, yeah, and they burned down several buildings, knocked out power to the city. Yeah, that's nice. Have a riot in the dark. Every time I hear Cleveland, I think of American Dad. We also have a Cleveland here in America, and it would just be super if you wouldn't blow it up. You know, I don't think I've ever watched an episode of American Dad. But yeah, Cleveland sucks. I remember the first time we went through Cleveland too. We didn't actually stop. We were where were we coming from? I don't remember why we came that way, but we drove through that part of Ohio, and I just remember looking at it as a kid. And when I say kid, this must have been when was it when we were leaving Michigan to go live in Virginia? So maybe I was 10. I just remember looking at it and going, this is a dark place. And I don't mean the skin color of anybody. I don't remember seeing people. I just remember everything just looked post-apocalyptic is a great way to put it. It just looked like nothing had been painted and nothing, the concrete, because they had the concrete overpasses and stuff around. It was all this dark, old looking color, like it had been there for 1,000 years. And oh man, it looks so horrible. Like, I can't believe people have to live here. And then I saw Detroit, so cop girls hate motorcycles. I don't know what that means. Which large city in the country is pretty much doesn't stuck in this postmodern world? It depends on how large you're talking about. For all the shit on San Francisco Street, the city itself is still pretty beautiful in a lot of places. I mean, there's a lot of money that's been spent there. You just got to do something with the homeless people. That's making it look horrible. When you talk about cities like Detroit and Cleveland, I don't know if you've been there to these cities, but they just look like they've been there forever and nobody cares. And I brought up Grand Rapids a little bit ago, and it was so nice to watch what happened in Grand Rapids, because that time that I was down there, this is right after the restoration begins, and they spent a shit ton of money in Grand Rapids, and they cleaned up everything. Now, there's still, like I said, if you go out into what you might call the suburbs, for what it is there in Grand Rapids, the immediate suburbs, that you have a lot of houses that are in disrepair and need cleaned up and that kind of thing. But so much of that city is looking alive and beautiful again. And then you go over to Detroit, and it's like, did a bomb fall here? And they need to invest in the city, and by invest in the city, you have to get businesses in there that are going to help revitalize the place. They counted way too long on the car industry, and the car industry falls out from them, and they had nothing to fall back on. Nothing. It would be a good place for, I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand why people settled in Detroit in the first fucking place, or anywhere in Michigan. It's cold half the year. If you're lucky, it's only half the year. And there's just nothing. Well, they wanted to trade with Canada. Why the fuck did people move to Canada? We should all be living no higher than, say, the top of Illinois. We should all be below that, because it's just too cold up here for people. Elon is pissing off the girls. What did Elon do? We did see that the SpaceX, well, is it a SpaceX rocket? It's the Dragon rocket, right? They were doing the hybrid NASA / SpaceX launch yesterday, and it had to be canceled due to the weather. It's supposed to be, they're going to try again on Saturday. I don't understand, because we've seen this before. You know, a shuttle flight gets canceled, and in this case, it's not a shuttle. It's, the rocket thing there, but it gets canceled. And instead of like going, okay, we're going to try again tomorrow, it's like, we'll try again in a week. Like, you have everything set up, just start again tomorrow, man. What the hell? So yeah, hopefully I think this is the first time we're sending people to the International Space Station since the last shuttle launch, which has been a while. And since then, we've actually been sending our astronauts on Russian rockets to get into space. That's fucking weird. Kyla says launch windows. I get that, but I don't understand how they work. That's what I'm getting at there, that I don't understand the specific conditions that they call the launch window. I say, fuck it, try anyway. Anyhow, Yeah, the snow off the lake is brutal and the humidity in the summer. I don't mind humidity. I absolutely abhor snow, man. This shit is, I don't understand it. I've never understood it. I remember being a kid and we went to SeaWorld and it was Snow World that time. This is in fucking San Diego. None of us had, they bought us these little mittens and your hands were still frozen because these weren't mittens that were made to be used in snow, much less in the ice they put us in. Because while snow is ice, it's a little different than shaved ice. They basically made a giant snow cone out of fucking SeaWorld and told us to go play in it. And everybody else liked them. My mom, I'm cold. I want to go home. I never liked it. I've never liked snow. I think snow is horrible. It's beautiful in pictures, and that's where it belongs. I love snow. You're wrong, Dragon Mage. Go sit in the corner. Anyhow, let's see. You know, guys, I try to keep these at 2 hours, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm gonna shoot for an hour and a half to 2 hours because sometimes I just get rambly for no reason, and I feel like I've gotten to that point, and we're only at an hour and a half. So I'm going to call it here, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. So guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You guys are amazing, and I really, really do appreciate it. Tonight is Thursday, so we're going to be on Satsu 2 Senses channel for Lords of the Night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I've been fighting with my internet to try to get able to game stream again. I keep an eye on Twitter. I will do it when I can because I really do want to get back to it. It's been over a month, and I finally have a game I want to play, and I can't do it, and it's pissing me off. But keep an eye on Twitter. If I can game stream, I'll be doing it sometime today. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Dear Lord, I have a pretty dick.